So what I've been trying to do today is build continuity. I finally got the grasses to have the same texture and feeling and importance. I think I have anyway. I'll know better when I get to see this video. It's a little hard for me to see sometimes when I'm looking at my paintings straight on. So I have a tendency, I post things on Facebook, and I have a tendency to do that, not only so other people can see what I'm doing, but also so I can see what I'm doing in a different light. It gives me a different way of seeing things, which I'm very big on. But anyway, I've been trying to build continuity. When I started the grasses, I actually used different stencils and shapes to build them. I used, for the actual grass, I used fringe from an old scarf that I have. And so that's how we get all those different directions. It wasn't me just sitting down, painting grass. I took the fringe. I had this laying on the floor, and I took the fringe and just kind of threw it down and then sprayed using aerosols. We've got a windy day, so you can hear the wind going over my mill studio now. And then in here, let me find the stencil that I used. In the grasses, I sprayed, there we go. In the grasses, you'll see little leaves and things. You'll actually see a shape in here. The shape is used in several different places, but it's hidden now. Yeah, I can't quite match them up, but the little leaves and things came from this, which was an old doily. I sprayed it onto a piece of paper, a small doily, sprayed it onto a piece of paper, blew it up, and then cut it out to build this larger stencil, sprayed it in. Now I'm not a fan of the obvious, so it's kind of buried. The shape is in there. It still has the same spiral feeling, but without being completely obvious. Ooh, look at me, I used a stencil. I find that extremely boring, tiresome, and predictable. And as we know, I'm not a fan of predictability. So I've been trying to build in the painting. I'm just thinking while I'm talking, but in the painting, sorry, I've been trying to build balance and continuity. This was black, this was a dark brown, it was very flat. This was not a flat black, but it was pretty dark brown. And what I did was add texture in red, textures in a lighter blue using oranges. And I've been going in now, I turned it upside down, and I've been going back in and adding black to the darker spots that I built. Instead of just going light, I wanted to use black and have it start to pop out. Obviously, it's not quite right. It's not quite there. And when I was standing back a second ago, before I turned the camera on, I was thinking I'd start going into the black and adding a light over the top of it. I like to paint within paint, and I call it cutting in. I don't know if there's an official term for it, but I like to cut into the paint with more paint. And again, it's not predictable. It's not just putting down one brush stroke. Come on, you. Not just putting in one brush stroke and leaving it at that. It's boring. And it's been done a gazillion, billion, trillion, million times. And I know that people don't know to try something else. And that is why I'm telling you, I don't have this. What is this doing? Come on. As you can see, I don't have a proper easel. I would love to have a proper easel, but I needed a gigantic one, and they're very expensive. So I use my chairs and tabletops and little cans of gesso and whatever I have is what I use. And then we end up with trouble like this, but I don't have thousands of dollars to spend on easels. And honestly, I kind of feel like it's a showy thing to do. I'm not big on showy, which is kind of ironic since I do these videos. But as you can see, I'm going over the black, going over the dark spots. So they're still dark, but they're not, look at me, I'm really dark. It's not an obvious dark. Yeah, and it helps to soften it too. I like bright and bold, but I don't like it so bright and bold that it becomes tiresome. It becomes tiring on the eyes. One of the things, I'm sorry to pat myself on the back, but one of the things I really like about my paintings is you can go in and you can photograph a small section and blow it up, and you will see all these colors and all these textures. And it is because, and things that you couldn't see with the naked eye, it is because I go in and I paint over and I paint in between. When I paint over, I'm not painting completely over. Let me see. Oops. I'm not completely painting over one line over another line and covering it. What I'm doing is I'm taking the paint and the brush and cutting in. And the brush with the new color makes the old color pop out. So you get these wonderful little lines cradling the new line. Now I've talked about mediums that I like, or a medium that I like, which is Neo Megilp or Neo Megilp. I've heard it pronounced both ways, but Neo Megilp, Megilpy by Gamblin Paint. I add this to my paints. I use them all the way through. It gives it texture, it gives it body, it gives it strength, it gives it clarity. It just makes the color burst. You get these really gorgeous colors and then they just burst. And when I do what I'm talking about right now, where I'm taking one line and cutting in with another line with the paintbrush, and I've used the Neo, this wonderful, I won't say clear, but this liquid of paint and Neo comes out. And it is so beautiful to me, to my heart, when it does that. And then when you blow these photographs up, you take this tiny section and blow it up, you can see what I mean. There's this liquid, when it's mixed with paint, is not actually yellow, but it gives this glow, and I'll tell you why. People talk about underpainting, and it's not something I really understood until the last couple of years. In master's paintings, way long, billion, girl with the pearl earring long ago, they would do an underpainting. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Sorry. They would do a painting under the painting. It was not only laying it out and laying out the colors, but it was laying out a color underneath the color that you're going to use. And now I know to do the same thing. I have a tendency to put down colors when I'm first doing a painting. I don't really care that this is going to be a tan jacket or a yellow jacket or a brown jacket or an orange jacket. I don't care that that's a white dress. I don't care. I put down the color that makes me happy at that moment. And the masters did something similar, but not as loony. They put the underpainting down. I keep saying that, I'm sorry. They put an original painting down on the canvas with the shapes and the colors, and it was very intentful and, you know, very tight. I'm very loose. They were very tight. The best of them were. So we hear. Anyway, like Vermeer or any of the older masters, when you see a Vermeer and there's a woman in a black dress, it's not really black, because the painting underneath, the color underneath, is red, or it's a purple. And the masters did that not only because black, if it were just put down, would be flat, it would be uninteresting. Something in your head says this isn't right. The masters understood that when they put that red down and then they put black on top, light got between the two layers and made that red come out. They somehow understood how light worked in the prism of light, how it would get down to that bottom layer and pull out, which I just think is so beautiful. Now, when they were doing it, it wasn't red oil paint, black oil paint. They had a mixture similar to this. This is non-toxic. It almost has no scent whatsoever. And what the masters were using was something I used to use but no longer use because it just doesn't work for me anymore. Damar varnish, linseed oil, and mineral spirits. They mixed it up, and that's what they used to mix in with their paints. I found Gamblin at an art store on Cape Cod in Orleans called Cape Cod Photo and Art Supply. I love them. A salesman there said, "You need to try this." Well, he got me to try the paints, and then he got me to try this. And I am in love with this. I go through 1 or 2 bottles a week when I'm painting. I buy a lot of this. Oh, let me get a clean bottle for you so you can actually see the label. I'm going to grab my friend Andy's. I haven't, don't tell him, but I keep buying him new bottles because I keep using up the ones that I buy him. So I use it up, and then before he knows it, I buy another one. And now he's gonna know, and there we are. Anyway, I absolutely love this stuff. This is like magic. This is the everlasting gobstopper of painting for me. It's stunning what it does with paint. And so just like the masters, when they put down the layer of red and then put the black on top using their Damar varnish, linseed oil, mineral spirit mixtures, I'm getting the same effect here, where it's not just flat white, flat white. There's an ice blue under there. It's actually another Gamblin product, if I can find it, called Radiant Blue. And I can't, oh, here it is, okay. It's Radiant Blue, and this is covered with paint now. This is the color, it's like a baby blue. I used this, and I used a darker midnight blue, mixed them up with a little bit of white, and used that for the underpainting of the dress. Now I'm going in with more and more and more whites, building up like a Norman Rockwell painting, where it's, you know, layers and layers and layers of white. And so she is going to have a solid, not as completely solid, but seemingly solid white dress that'll contrast with that seemingly solid black, which is actually red, black, and magentas. And it's really going to pop out against all this grass mess, this chaos in the background in her socks. I wanted that balance in there of, well, not balance, but I wanted the contrast, that's what I was looking for, of solids and chaos. And so we're getting there. I'm going to continue to cut into the darks with slightly lighter colors, and we'll see what happens. But I should still have shading when I'm all done, because that's what the darks are about, is finding a little bit of shade in there, but without it being too shade dark. This is a shadow and Shakespeare and all that, you know, being just so solidly formal about it. I'm really excited about this one. I wasn't for a long time, but now I am. Now I'm going to tell you another trick. When I had, well, about 2 hours ago, I had put down translucent brown, if I can find it, that's not it. Oh, never mind, I can't find it. I had put down Gamblin's Translucent Earth Brown and mixed it with the Neo and got this really like liquid maple syrup. Like a Aunt Jemima maple syrup where it's not too dark, not too light. And shaded. And I had made the mistake of leaving it like that, and I kept going, what is wrong with this? And that's what made me start cutting in with black. I went black, 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 where the browns were. And that really helped because it was looking flat and amateurish. But now I'm cutting in with lighter colors so that it's not so obvious. And so that the beautiful browns and blacks will pop up around the oranges and yellows that I'm putting in. And there we are. I better get to work because it's almost time to go. Bugsy wants his din-dins. There we are. Yep. Ciao.